It's time.
Kablooey!
All right, here we go.
The Cocktail Show.
Get ready to have a good time.
Let's have a good time.
This is exciting, isn't it?
Yep.
Hello, testing.
Welcome aboard the Dreamliner.
It's the only way to fly.
Wow.
I've allotted 1 hour for recreational activity. There's no time for irrelevant conversation. Fun will now commence.
Cocktail Show.
Gary.
Here's a young speaker who is really in demand.
Don't let that go to your head, Gary.
But wait, there's more.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's Gary Meyer.
3, 2, 1, 0.
We're streaming live at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central, on the March 3rd, 2023 edition of The Gary Meyer Show, Cocktail Hour Live.
Live.
Cocktails. Woo! Drinks.
And of course, no matter where you are, it's time for a digital mimosa. We've turned the page into March. Meteorological spring is now underway. Sure, parts of Southern California saw snow for the first time in forever this past week, but hopefully more GarrForcers can start getting back out and about with nicer weather. I've been out and about a lot this past week, and within just 7 miles of my house, I watched 2 Falcon 9 rocket launches, including the one I showed with the cork popping just a moment ago. I saw Mickey Mouse defeat a dragon, went on a safari to see lions, saw killer whales, spot an alligator hatch, went looking for ducklings, haven't spotted any yet, got over to the start of the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival, has invited media on behalf of MousePlanet.com. I saw all the new topiaries, which include the Family Madrigal from Encanto, Princess Tiana, and Canadian geese. Saw this year's versions of many returning favorites, some of which have been quite enhanced. There are also many flowering gardens, including a favorite in a miniature town, and the Butterfly Garden. The festival has lots of specialty food and beverage offerings, and of course, lots of merchandise. This year highlighting Orangebird, who dates back to the 1970s. There are nightly concerts featuring a range of acts from locals to groups like Smash Mouth, Plain White Tees, and Herman's Hermits. Beacons of Magic light Spaceship Earth every night. The festival runs through July 5th. Plenty of sunsets between now and then, and if you get outside, maybe you can also spot the Big Dipper up in the sky. Speaking of good views, as always, the best way to watch this show is the GarrForce Live YouTube channel.
YouTube. Subscribe to the GarrForce Live YouTube channel.
More eyeballs. It's a good thing.
Please like and share the show on all the social media channels. Comments during the live show, wherever we're live streaming, can be seen in our virtual studio, and we may show them on the screen and or talk about them. Now, fasten your seatbelts. It's time to go wheels up on the GarrForce Live.
Live.
Come on! Leslie, I'm putting the good karma out there.
Can't we all just get along?
Here we go. Boom. Shaka-laka.
Welcome, everybody. We are gathering because that's what we do every Friday. It's the Cocktail Show, as it was presented in the opening there by Alan Delinka, the producer of the Cocktail Show. Alan, you should run for office in Florida because you highlight everything that the rest of the country thinks that Florida is, but a lot of stuff is coming out of there that isn't stuff that people want to go and experience because it's all gooey. You have fixed that in what you present on this show. If Florida wants to advertise on this show, welcome, because Alan, he makes you look nice.
Well, what should I promote? The bad stuff? I mean, come on.
No, you don't, but other people, there's stuff going on in that state and it gets out and it's weird. It's weird stuff. So you're doing a good job for the good state of Florida. And a great job on this broadcast. Let's kick the tires, light them up. All right. One more sequence has to happen before we are wheels up. And that is Leslie there removing her condom to get it going.
I got it right here.
What do you got?
Got me an Oyster Bay, one of my favorite Chardonnays. And, do we ever have some buildup today? So very exciting.
It's going to go.
Okay, and because we did that compilation, I realized I go, but I can't help myself. So excuse me if I ooh.
Okay. That's what she is going to say.
See? It just happens.
And I like when it goes sideways.
And we can refresh everyone if you
Right.
like.
Now,
We can run the new version.
Right. Speaking of removing the condom, Alan has put together another medley like he did last week. Was it last week?
It was 2 weeks ago already.
2 weeks ago.
Wow.
All right. So a medley of all the removal of the condoms. And it takes a minute. And let's take a look at the video.
Ryan sent me a gift last week, some wine condoms. And I don't exactly know what a wine condom is. So I'm going to open one with y'all today. And there you go.
All right. All right. Hey, yeah. Hey.
And it comes right up.
There it goes. Take the wine cup. There it is. Ooh, look. There it goes. Oh. Yeah, there it goes.
Oh no! I misfired.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Was it good for you? Because it was good for the rest of us. Hey, okay, cheers. And we're going to mention a couple of things we're celebrating in just a second here. I noticed in the first shot that I had no idea how to frame myself. Did you notice the backdrop? And I was sitting on, I looked like Sid Dithers, and the backdrop was not framed properly. And we all learn as we go.
We're getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And always adding things to make it more interesting.
Okay.
There are the balloons from my birthday.
As I mentioned at the first medley a couple of weeks ago, it's fun to see the seasons changing as we go through all the removals and all the mannequins with the dresses changing over the years, like the time machine.
Like the time machine.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I love that. And the Christmas lights, which are still, now I don't know if you're calling those Christmas lights, they're still up.
Okay, so we've talked about this in the past, that there is this lag time between Christmas and spring when it's just kind of dreary. It's time to take down the Christmas decorations for sure,
Right.
but I'm calling these colored lights. And so they seem like they should be okay anytime when they're just colored lights, right?
Okay. Well,
Okay.
it tain't Christmas, tain't Easter. We're in
Yeah.
that little piece there
Queen.
that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
And you're making it something. Here, happy birthday, belated. It was this week,
thank
but
you.
we're going to do it today as part of the cocktail show. Happy birthday to Leslie.
Woo!
And we're breaking the back of winter today because it's March, and meteorological March 1st is spring, the start of spring, and we're breaking the back. And I don't care. I know it's goofy around the country.
Hallelujah.
It's still got some winter. The two seasons are going to fight each other for a while.
Sure.
That's
But we
understood.
know here in Chicago, there's a snow warning. And I guess if you're south of I-80, you're definitely getting some. But it's the kind of snow now where, do I even bother shoveling?
No.
Because it's going to be 40 in a day or two. Just let nature take care of it. And
Okay, we've
I love
broken the
this
back.
time.
The back is broken officially. Cheers. Goodbye.
Cheers. Stolat.
Winter
Clink, all that.
22-23. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get the first comment up, Ellen, and that would be, of course, Keely-Ann. What does she say here? Happy birthday, Leslie. I got you a gift box of Luxardo cherries, but my schnauzer just couldn't resist. Once the syrup sweetness started dripping from the box, well, oh my. Maybe next year. How about that? Oh boy.
Cool. Hey, the thought is enough.
It really is, and it's more than enough for the rest of us just to hear and feel that, isn't it?
Before we get too far away from birthday talk, because we want to say hi to a bunch of you. So some people from my other job, I lied. I just said, "Oh yeah, I'm turning 50," and they bought it. So they did the whole thing with the nifty 50 balloons and everything. And then I was mortified because at some point you have to come clean and say, I'm not 50, I'm 51.
Right. I fudged it a little bit.
Just a little bit. And thanks to Scott from Scott's Vintage Antiques and Collectibles. I hate competition.
Uh-oh.
Angry Mama's got a new friend in the broadcast nook. You ready for this?
And this was sent to her by Scott from his shop.
Now you can't
And
see it real well because
here's the reveal. Let's take the
Okay.
glass top off so we don't get a glare. And it's a
shrunken head.
shrunken head.
Here's his voice.
You were at Scott's shop once. Did you see the shrunken head and go, boy, I wish I could get that?
I didn't go, oh my God, I need that. Because I came home with a trophy that day, but I did notice the shrunken head, and I know he's not the only, but okay, and I couldn't, I was creeped out for a little bit, but we're getting, once I gave him a voice, he doesn't seem so bad anymore. I touched his hair, and it's really soft. It's like human hair, I think.
Is that a real head? What's the backstory on that?
I don't think he is. I'm looking to see if there's actual. It should be skin. That's what it is, right? The tribes would pulverize the skull and shrink the skin and sew the eyes and mouth closed and stuff. But I don't think it's real skin. I don't know, Scott. Correct us if I'm wrong, but yikes! I got my own shrunken head now.
Maybe Angry Mama and Shrunken Head can do a conversation at some point. That would be interesting, or could happen now.
Shut the frick up!
Yeah.
I said shut up!
There it is.
You go.
There's a little puppet show for you. Okay. And you're going to have half as much stuff in your little nook there as Scott has at his shop. If you get what is it in formaldehyde?
A pony in formaldehyde. Yeah. Except that would creep. If I open a box one day and I see a little fleshy looking hoof, because it's. Do you remember the babies at the Museum of Science and Industry when you were a kid? They would take us there on field trips, and they had the gestational display of human fetuses, and a lot of them had been there already for 40 or 50 years, so they were kind of flaking off and stuff.
And they were real, right? Those are
they absolutely.
Yeah, they were real. I don't know if they've replaced them with rubber ones because I think they got some blowback.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you get I don't even want to go down that road. And here's the question: talk amongst yourselves. How did they get the fetuses?
Fetuses are us. Yeah. Well, and they also had some guy in the hallway that they had filleted, and there was a backstory, and his name was John Brown, and he gave his body to science. So thank you all for your generous gifts. But
yeah, that's a weird donation. Okay. All right. Let me acknowledge a number of people who have checked in on the comment line. We start with Charles from WRLR. And he wants, a lot of people are going to be wishing Leslie a happy birthday.
Thank you all.
Stay in and snuggle your schnauzer if you need a suggestion tonight. Greg, does this mean Leslie can drink legally now? Well, she's 51.
Yeah, they still card me though. And I think that's embarrassing when they do that.
Seriously? Why would that be embarrassing? Isn't that a compliment?
It almost seems like they're mocking. Come on.
I'll take anything.
I'm 21. Right.
Lloydster says, I hope to see Leslie in first class to wish her a happy birthday.
Okay.
All right.
I'd like to be in first class too.
Okay. And David R., I think, is next. Lionel Richie, sing along. You're once, twice, three times a schnauzer, and I love you. Pet it and keep it warm. Hello from Oakland, Illinois. All right.
3 times a schnauzer.
All right. Ken here, he's gotten into my routine of some roast to order coffee to start his day and a double beaver. You got to do something to give your day a chance. That's what I do. Ken, I think you would agree. That's the way to go. All right. David Erickson, you're up next. Checking in from Aurora, Illinois, the airport there, runway 18R.
He's on 18R.
18R. Good day, sir.
Good
We
day.
got 18R. Hey, speaking of airplanes, did you see that story about the plane that hit the turbulence I believe it was leaving Austin and was going across the ocean somewhere. It hit turbulence over Tennessee. It was a long flight that they were going on. And you know who was on the flight?
Who?
Matthew McConaughey. All right. Now, maybe you've seen the video of this, of all the stuff in the aisle that was tossed around.
I only saw a still photo of the aftermath.
Okay,
so there
his
is
wife
video?
took the vid. That's Matthew McConaughey's wife. Yes. All right. We love airplane mishaps, even though there's no death. We just are fascinated by aviation and fire because they're relatively new.
Well, and the funny thing in the reporting of that story, they were talking about all the broken glass, and I'm like, who got a glass on this flight? It had to all come from first class because nobody else gets a glass.
Where you and Lloydster will be having a drink someday.
That's right.
Kevin D checking in. Hello, Kevin. I think Steve Harvey would say you have a good one tonight. Yeah. Happy birthday to Leslie. Yeah. Got a good one for you tonight. Yes, we do. I feel it. Are you feeling it?
I am. I'm feeling a lot of love, and thank you guys. I should also thank Doggy Boy. He sent me roses. He delivered them himself, and so thanks to everybody. I mean, this is really sweet. I should mention too, I even got a card from little Hank Corcoran, and he filled it out himself. And what have we found out about Hank? He loves bowling. It took me a minute, but I finally realized, oh wait, he actually drew me a little bowling alley on the side.
That's it. Initially, it could be a stack of cans, but it's a bowling ball and some pins.
They're lima beans with something going on, but no, it's bowling.
All right, Hank. Hank is very, very generous. He sent me a bunch of stuff, and look what Ryan sent me. Got it in the mail yesterday. Remember, I was talking about going to the dollar store. They were out of liquid paper. Yeah, Ryan sent me some whiteout. I think I'll leave it out, and that was nice because I don't know when they're going to get it back at the dollar store.
Can I ask a question? We see the usual array of Band-Aids, but there's one on the actual tip of a finger.
Yeah,
did
because
you hurt yourself?
I cut my finger, and if I don't, there's a scab on it. It might look like I have dirty fingernails, and I don't want to do that.
And I've got one of those going right now too. I filleted my hand trying to open some cat litter. So yeah, maybe I get some colorful Band-Aids.
Yes.
And
that's another feel good as we ignore reality on this program every week.
As much as we can.
As much as because there's no point in finding it because it ain't going to make you feel any better.
No way.
Dale. Hey, Dale. How are you doing? I'm going to go to the screen door pretty soon here. Does Dale have a message? Beer? Is he the beer pong? Those are solo cups. He's doing beer pong. Dan. That's Dan with the solo cups. All right. And it is time for...
Oh, look at... On the first...
No, it was not on the... I'll never have gotten it on the first try. You saw my backdrop 3 years ago when we started this. I couldn't frame. I'm still trying to figure this out. Okay, who's there that I haven't mentioned? Turtle Bean and Doggy Boy's checking in with Betty Nesmith would be proud of you. That is, you know who she is?
Mike Nesmith's mom.
Of the Monkees. She invented liquid paper.
That's right.
About that, yeah. Martin from British Columbia. Always good to see him. And I saw earlier Cindy checked in and Ro. There's Ro. How did you cut it? Me? How did I was doing, who knows? Who knows?
Manly stuff. He was probably taking down a tree or changing a tranny or something.
I changed the tranny and she started to run and I had to tackle she and it got physical.
I don't think I can even use that term. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
The transmission.
Yeah. Exactly. Be cool. Be cool. David.
It's all love. It's all, yeah.
What's that hand pink waving? What is that? What does that mean?
I don't know. It's a puzzle.
All right, Marianne, good job, Gary, on whatever. I don't know. Oh, I cut my thumb on Sunday. It's in the air. Cutting your fingers in the atmosphere. And Scott with hee-haw. You can't go wrong with hee-haw. Hey, let me tell you something. Here's what I did this week, and this is where my head's at. I, back-to-back, watched The Elephant Man and In Cold Blood. And I'll tell you,
Wow.
okay, if you've never seen these movies, have you seen these movies?
This is some deep stuff going on here.
Okay, The Elephant Man, 1980, David Lynch vehicle.
Right.
And this is based on a true story. This guy, his real name is Joseph Merrick, but he was erroneously called John Merrick. And at the age of 5, he developed some severe deformities. His head, back, legs.
And a case of neurofibromatosis.
Yes. And
pulled that one out.
Right. And then in his teens, he was in a freak show for a number of years. He died at the age of 27. And in the movie, there's a moment where he's in a room and the window shade is open and people gather outside the window and they're just laughing and gawking at him. And then they come in the room and this one guy has 2 women. They appear to be hookers. And he pushes the women onto the Elephant Man and makes them kiss him. And it looked like it was going to get sexual. And I thought, boy, and if that is half true, this was in the 1800s. So, you know, a lot of freaky stuff happened and there was no political correctness. Nobody cared.
Now, I saw the theatrical presentation with
too,
David
Bowie. Yeah.
And it was, I mean, a mind-blowing performance. But as I recall, like one of those hookers actually developed a relationship with John and then willingly would spend time with him because she saw the person, him as a person rather than as simply a freak. But holy smoke. Oh my God. Yeah. Turtle Bean is actually a friend of mine. And I believe we went and saw it together. It was.
I did too. And you're right. And David didn't have the prosthetics of the head all distorted. That was the amazing performance. It was kind of, he was hunched over on crutches, but all the physicality made you realize it in your head. That
early on in the play, they described all of John. Wait, what was his real name? Joseph?
His real name is Joseph Merrick, and for some reason he was called John Merrick.
But anyway, it started to explain what was all of his, illnesses, or all of his disabilities, and all the things that were affecting him. And David Bowie, I believe, was simply wearing almost like a diaper, a barely there kind of covering over his genitals, and then just kind of twisted his body into the role, and that's all he had to do for the rest of the play.
And he pulled it off magnificently.
God.
Yeah. So the movie, the catchphrase, if you will, was "I'm a man, I'm not an animal." And was the other one "Don't look at me, I'm hideous," or is that from Mrs. Doubtfire? I don't remember. I get those confused. Okay.
They are so similar. It's
as if that wasn't enough. Watching this and how people and freak shows were popular through, I'm going to say, the 60s. I remember this amusement park in Chicago had a freak show, and this was in the 60s. And these people that had deformities, or if they were fake, I don't know, but that was very acceptable.
Well, and as I recall, I saw a documentary a couple of years back, but when people with the best intentions decided to shut all those freak shows down, a lot of the freaks were like, holy smokes, you just took my job.
Yeah.
And they were because they had created this community around what they didn't mind. I mean, they were making really good money having facial hair and being fat, or conjoined twins, whatever they were.
And if you've seen Wolf of Wall Street, there's a scene there where at the office they have a midget toss. They hire, and I know midgets is not the right word anymore, but that's what they were doing, and they would toss midgets into a Target, or little people, or whatever they're called now.
I believe they called them dwarves, which is even more insulting.
Right. So all that going down before we got real tight and woke. So, In Cold Blood, have you seen this movie ever?
Yes.
1967.
Yes.
If you
It's
haven't,
it scare
true
the
story.
opening scene will scare
Now,
the bejeepers
both
off.
of these movies, The Elephant Man and In Cold Blood, black and white. So that always adds to the tension and
Yeah.
all the drama that you're witnessing. And the story is, if you haven't seen it, two ex-cons go to this house in Holcomb, Kansas, family of four, slaughtered because they thought the family had money that they were going to steal, because one of the ex-cons, he was in a cell with a guy who worked for the farmer and said, this guy has a lot of cash on hand. So when
Right.
they get there, there's no cash. I think $40 is all they got. So they still killed the mother, father, son, and daughter, right? Robert
Terrifying.
Blake. This
Oh.
was, I believe, his first starring role. Here's the side story that I think is really weird. When they made the movie in 66, 67, they used the real house where this happened. And the people that bought the house let them do the movie at the house. I believe they made $15,000 on that. And I'm thinking, first of all, why would you buy a house where four people were murdered? I don't know how.
Right.
That's got bad juju. How you sell a house like that. And the realtor has to tell the people, right? There are certain things that these real estate agents have to say
Right.
before you can sell a house if something like that has happened.
Full disclosure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Anyway,
with
these
that.
people bought it, and then they're filming this movie, and I'm thinking, how do you let that? I mean, don't you want to get away from that altogether? But $15,000 back in the 60s, that's huge cash. I mean, today to get that for a few weeks of filming would be nice too, but back then, but still.
Well, I guess you wrap yourself around the good juju of that bank account. And
I
go,
guess,
"Eh."
but we've
Well,
been
and in the
talking
same way,
recently about what we would do for how much amount of cash, and no. First of all, I'm not going to buy that house.
But scary things can be less scary once you just, get acquainted with them. Although I don't want to touch its hair. It really is.
Put it in the glass case. Is that right next to the shoe measure, the foot measure? Where are you placing it?
He's on the desk. The Brannick device is on the wall. So
Okay.
it's still there.
You're going to have to, hey, your husband's going to have to build a cabinet pretty soon for all your stuff.
Golly. I'm going to be like our friend Bill Leff. I'm going to have my collection around me.
The host of Tunes Are Us or whatever on MeTV.
Tune in with me.
Tune in with me. And he has giant glass cases with all his collectibles. I wouldn't have the patience, but people do. Greg Potter, another guest on their show, collects things, toys. I don't know how they do it.
Greg Potter, by the way, was breaking the news of the fact that the guy who played the original creature from the Black Lagoon apparently passed away. The guy who wore the costume that Greg now owns.
Yeah,
yes.
Greg has it now. All right. So that was my week. Tells you how off onto something I am. Yeah, let's see. What's a good chaser for the Elephant Man? In Cold Blood.
In Cold Blood. There's and then you double beaver and you wait for something really horrific.
Right. Well, that's the palate cleanse every day. I start with the palate cleanse, and then I don't know how the day's going to go. It could end with In Cold Blood and the Elephant Man. Now, in Cold Blood, they show these two guys getting hanged, and they show Blake swinging at the end and fade to black. Oh, woo.
Truman Capote.
That's why I need a drink on Friday. Well, I force myself to do those things so I can cleanse. I have an excuse to cleanse on Friday, and that's what I'm doing here, apparently. Wow. All right. Hey, I got to ask Alan something with the opening there. Todd Pickering is the guy who's doing live. And we haven't had Todd on.
No, we had Todd on making fun of you when you said that Todd was the male Karen.
I know, but I mean a Todd. Right. Maybe that's why
that was just 2 weeks ago.
Not on the show, yeah.
Reluctantly, he came on to defend himself because I stepped in a big pile when I said
no. He moved, and when he moved, he'd packed up his green screen for a while, but he got it back out when we wanted to do that segment a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we'd like to see Todd more if he's available because he does really funny stuff. I love Todd, and I made a mistake by saying there's Karen, and what's the male equivalent? And I said, how about Todd? And I didn't even think.
Because
Todd
Gary
Pickering.
says nobody's named Todd.
I know what the. This is okay. I have to say that damn pandemic has really.
Well,
whipped
I will
my
definitely
ass.
send him. I will definitely send him this clip. He will laugh. So
Yeah, I'm still in the tail of the pan. It's whipping me,
Oh,
whipping at me good.
it's. I think we're all still a little slap happy.
Okay, and the schnauzers are kissing. Okay, now I feel better. All right.
But
So you
there
have
was
your
all that
puppets, too.
there was all that confusion you guys raised with the Guardians of the Galaxy story. That
Oh yeah.
Leslie had
That's
early
what I
this
wanted
week.
you to clear up. See, I'm not getting anything right lately. I can't get the screen door right. I can't get. You mentioned you went on this ride, and then there was a story we had about the ride in Disneyland, and I said,
there's two Guardians rides, right? I've been on both. So the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Disneyland was the subject of the news piece that Leslie had.
What was the story again?
This is a TikTok video or a TikTok trend, one of those things where, hey, try this, kids. And the idea was to keep the strap loosened on the ride so that when it did some sort of dive, you got airtime and it's going to be really exciting and dangerous. And the folks at Disney were like, oh, stop this right now. We are not going to be part of this. And they said, anybody caught messing with this strap, whatever the harness device is, you're going to get kicked out of the park if we catch you. So
it's a traditional seatbelt.
What's the big deal? It's a virtual reality ride, according to Alan. And it's not.
No. It's an elevator drop. It originally opened at Disneyland as their Tower of Terror. Florida still has a Tower of Terror, but in California, the Tower of Terror was rethemed to Guardians of the Galaxy, and it actually drops in a vertical shaft a bunch of times as it's synced to various video of the Guardians of the Galaxy trying to save the universe as they do. And there's a Guardians of the Galaxy ride here in Florida that I went on almost a year ago now when it opened, and I've been on it since. And it is an actual roller coaster. And I wouldn't know how to. I wouldn't want to worm out of any of those safety restraints, but I don't know how somebody would escape those safety restraints. It's a very big bar, and it sort of pins you into the seat. But the seatbelt, you can see how somebody would just pull some slack, and it's really stupid because that's a metal cage, and when the cage stops going down and shifts to going back up, if you're not belted to that cage, as I seem to recall physics, you're going to keep going even though the cage is stopped.
Yes. That flight that Matthew McConaughey was on.
Yes.
That's what happens. And then there's glass breakage and people are screaming. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, on the Tower of Terror here in Florida, back in the days we had paper tickets, and I'm looking to see if I've got one on the table here, and I don't. Back in the day we had paper passes. I would put my annual pass in my pocket, in my shirt pocket up here. And one of the times when we got to the top and the car stopped, my ticket kept going, flew all the way up to the ceiling and landed on the guy in front of me. Fortunately, he handed it back to me at the end of the ride. So if you're not belted in, that's going to be you at some point.
Let me get this straight. So when people are on a plane and hit severe turbulence, they are panicking, but they go and pay to have that kind of feeling.
Right.
Well, that's the basis of all theme parks. Yes.
Okay. I mean,
all right. This story out of Universal Studios, they opened its Super Nintendo World. The Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge has size restrictions that would limit most men in America from being allowed on the ride. The restriction is a 40-inch waist or larger. The average man's waist is 40.5. The average American woman's waist is, what do you think it is?
Well, it ain't 28, so I'm going to say, what, 32?
38.7. That's
Really?
the average waist size for a woman in this country.
I'm feeling a little better about myself. On the heels of that, there's a story making the rounds right now that in the next, it's only a few years, more than half the people on the planet will be technically fat or obese.
No.
So
Okay.
I guess we've handled world hunger, and now the pendulum has swung
Right.
so far that everybody's gigantic. So hey, that's
And
great.
this is an issue at Disney World too. The new Tron ride that you've heard me talk about and that I've ridden once so far. Most of the seats on the Tron ride, they don't specify a body size, but you sit on it like it's a motorcycle, and you get pinned into it a certain way, and depending on your body shape, you may not fit. And I haven't tried to ride that seat yet. There's a traditional seat in the back that was perfectly comfortable, and I didn't feel like being uncomfortable when I went for the ride with my friends a couple of weeks ago. But I'm going to media day in a couple of weeks. I'll try to allow myself to get pinned into that thing if I fit.
That sounds like fun.
Doesn't it?
38.7 average woman's waist in this
Wow.
country. Vera Ellen was 18.
Yeah.
We're way past the Vera Ellen test. Well, 18. Now we're okay. That's
Okay, she
that's
was
the
not
extreme.
healthy. So,
Right.
but growing up, I always remember 36, 24, 36. And I think the last time I was 24 around the middle, I was probably like 12. But not so far from that. Now I'm just a giant rectangle, but it is kind of scary where we're going with this.
You think?
Yeah, well, and the whole fat acceptance movement, one understands no one should be shamed, no one should be made fun of. Heck, we just talked about freak shows and the fact that some of these things, should be retired, but it's kind of scary when you think about people really young being that huge.
Well, how do you fit on
Where do you go?
airplane seats and things that aren't expanding
That's-
at that measure? How do you do that? Because it's very uncomfortable. I know some of these sporting arena seats, I'm in the seat and I'm thinking, if I was 20 pounds heavier only, I'd be up against the armrest. How do you fit in them?
So what's this gonna do to horse racing? Sorry.
Okay, I'll toast to that. It's her birthday. It's her birthday week.
Oh golly.
What
Just
are you
imagine
talking
the
about?
jockey,
Yeah.
these giant jockeys, and these poor bow-legged horses, and
Oh,
oh
well.
golly.
Yeah, Wall-E, if you've seen that movie.
Yep.
Okay.
It's
Hey,
my
did you
birthday, it's my birthday. I
did
get away
you-
with anything.
did you right, it's your birthday. Did you see that OJ weighed in on that Murdaugh trial and said, I think he's
Really?
guilty? I think
Oh,
the guy was
really,
a
OJ?
liar and he killed his wife and son. And I'm thinking, wow, it takes one to know one.
Well, OJ's still out there trying to find the murderer of his form of Nicole.
Night
He
and day,
said
he's working
he
on
was
it.
going to make it his lifelong commitment.
30 years later, still working on it.
Still working on it.
How
Yeah.
about this Murdaugh mope? I thought the guy was a mope from the get-go. But here's the bit. When the jury's only out about 20 minutes, can't be good.
They ordered sandwiches from
Right.
Jimmy John's.
Right. We
Freaking-
can't go out there. I already know, but it's only 8 minutes. All right, let's
I
get
know.
sandwiches.
We'll get Jimmy John's. They'll be here really fast. We'll eat and then we'll go out. Yeah. So
Right.
it was all of 25. Okay.
Anybody
and,
think he's not guilty? Okay, sandwiches, and then we'll go out.
he was on the video with his son moments before the son ends up dead, but he says he wasn't there. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I've only followed this peripherally, so I apologize, but is there something about Paw Paw? Did everybody call him Paw Paw?
Call who, Paw Paw?
Somebody got called Paw Paw.
That's what they do in this
I'm thinking, all the Paw Paws out there, you got to change it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, grandkids, you can't call me Paw Paw anymore because
Yeah. They do that nicknamey stuff in the South, I think, a lot.
I think they do. They call it. They're either Mr. Gary or
Right.
Paw Paw. Could you imagine
or-
Gary being called Paw Paw?
Paw Paw.
Oh, Paw Paw was his son.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. There's
Oh,
the sign.
boy.
All right. It's either, Paw Paw or a racial slur. And that's the way you go about your business
There's that.
in the Deep South. All right. There's the Facebook prison van coming to get me. But when I do, all right. Hey, Ryan is popping on here and he is going to do the Wisconsin report. but we also have some photos that we want to share with you. Ones that might not make it to the Facebook page because the van will come by and throw me in it. But we thought these were fun.
Yeah, well, before we start with that, this was one I was kind of under the weather this week, and then I go out and get gas, and I see this on the gas pump. It's like instructions, and you got to synchronize with the other guy pumping gas if you don't want it to be slow. I went, huh?
At the same time, that way 10 seconds
Now,
before
pull the trigger and it will pump at normal speed. Yes, it will.
But if all pumps
let's
must be
just
released
say
at the
some
same
of these
time.
sentences, and Ellen's going to use them as an opening at some point. That's what she said.
So I went, huh?
All pump triggers must be released at the same time, and then wait 10 seconds before anyone pumps.
Yeah, so you got to like
that's what my bumper sticker says.
You got to coordinate. Hey, Gary, hold that a minute. My pump's slow. And
what? Did somebody put that up there as a joke?
It was on all the pumps at the gas station, and I went, huh? So I just pumped the
How
gas.
did you fare when you were pumping?
It was fine. It was fine, but nobody else was there, so maybe it was. Yeah. Yes.
What does release the trigger mean?
You know what it means.
I think it's.
So,
I'd let go of the
as
trigger.
opposed to getting it fixed, they spend all this time copying all those things. Let's go get them covered in plastic and then put them on all the. What the frack?
And then for a little more torment, then I went to that fun grocery store I always go to, and I just couldn't pass the deli again.
There it is.
There it is.
And you hadn't been in a while, and they did not disappoint. They had the meat.
It did not disappoint. So I had to really edit the picture because, I can't go up there and go, hey, I just want to take another picture of your dirty deli. I just kind of.
Yeah, Dirty Deli. That's a good clown name. I like that.
It's up there in neon, but he goes there anyway. It is actually
and it's different cuts.
Deli.
You got the sandwich cut, you got the the shaved, and then you got the kind of the in between.
You're really making me appreciate my local Publix. I mean, that nice clean belt.
There you go. So wait, is this maybe like where they bring those desserts around to your table? See, this is a shave. That's a thin cut. That's a thick cut.
It's a charcuterie tray.
Oh my God. That's probably still the same lunch meat from the last time you were there.
Yeah, that was not where the person was cutting for somebody. That was just there as you walked up from who knows when.
Correct, right. And then I had to kind of turn the camera sideways and pretend I was making a phone call to grab that, because they'd probably kick me out of the store.
Wow, that is so weird.
People talk about people putting a thumb on the scales. That is the equivalent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have your pictures. Yes, a couple pictures Gary sent that we wanted.
How do you like your prosciutto shave?
There you go.
Okay, this is a design, I believe, in Japan, right?
Yeah. And
they say this really saves a lot of water because you wash your hands and it goes into the toilet and then gets, I imagine, filtered before it comes back out to wash your hands. But that does make sense. If the Japanese come up with this, and it always works, so let's not say it doesn't. But that is what we're going to have to go to because there's too much water being wasted everywhere.
It's the clean water first. So the gray water is just what's going into the tank. So it honestly, this makes perfect sense. Except do you straddle the toilet? Do you stand aside?
Yeah, because I'm noticing you're right.
Well, how many folks can wash their hands before you need to flush? Because that chamber above the toilet will only hold so much liquid.
Well, it'll fill accordingly.
Wow. There's no room to stand on the side and do it. You're right. You got to straddle the damn thing.
So that's kind of awkward.
Yeah.
But hey, once again, maybe if we put the toilet on a bias, we got to think outside the box.
All right. Okay. And what else do we have? Oh, these are those goggles we've been talking about for dogs. And
goggles.
Goggles. And I'm at first thinking, what dog would wear these? But the point was made, dogs that are doing something, say, in an earthquake site or somewhere where they could get stuff in their eyes, those make a lot of sense.
And dogs who like to ride in sidecars of motorcycles.
Yes.
and honestly, I pulled that one out of my keister, and our friend Matt sent me a picture of a guy with a sidecar, and the people who were photographed had a 3-legged dog that loved to ride in the sidecar. So it's not as hot as it seems.
This is a good time, Alan, if you want to put up the featured dog for Canine Hero, projectcaninehero.org. Remington is the featured dog this month. And if you're familiar with this operation from us talking about it, Jason Johnson has this sanctuary for these dogs that have been retired from the TSA and police departments because the government does not provide for them. And they go to, because of Jason raising money and buying land, they go to his sanctuary, and then he takes care of them. If he doesn't get somebody to adopt them, he takes care of them for the remainder of their lives. And some of these dogs retire early because they have an ailment that can't be fixed properly, and they're done. And there's still a lot of life left on the planet for these dogs. And then contributions help with the medical expenses and whatnot. Now, all the dogs featured this year, I believe, are deceased, sadly. And he's featuring all of the dogs that have given service around the country.
End
Remington.
of watch kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, aw.
Yeah. So Remington put in the service. What these dogs do saves our lives, maybe, where they're sniffing explosives at the airport. Somebody tried to put a bomb. Did you see this? In East Pennsylvania, had a bomb in their checked luggage.
All right.
And it went through the detector, and the detector caught it. I mean, there's still shit going on out there.
We had the story of the American tourists in Israel who were trying to bring back an unexploded ordnance and got stopped at the airport before they put it on the plane. So yeah, these and we still, I should mention, have some gear from Project Canine Hero that we'll be giving away in the weeks to come. So
all right, Jason sells the calendar, socks, caps, all kinds of
books,
stuff.
Yeah,
that go
coins.
To help these dogs. There's the website. Please support that. Somebody should. The government. What, come on. All right. What else you got, Ryan?
What the frick is wrong with those people? I got the device you talked about and you posted on your Facebook, the kissing device.
Oh, yeah. This is out of Japan. Or is it China? I think this is a Chinese vehicle. And it's a docking thing for your phone. And the electronics can replicate your lover's kiss. The lips heat up, I believe, and move. And you can kiss from thousands of miles away if you want. Yeah, if you want, if that's what you want. Okay.
Yeah, and that's totally just kissing.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Okay. And this I thought was a nice sign. When you buy from a small business, you're not helping a CEO buy a third holiday home. You're helping a little girl get dance lessons, a little boy with his team to get a jersey for his team. And what else does that say? And
moms and dads put food on the table.
Shop local, right?
Yep.
Can't hurt. Nice little message. Wow, Leslie, you sound really
and then we go
fantastic. To this. And we'll just go into this then.
That was a news story.
Yeah, right. Okay, parents left in shock after gorillas start mating. And again, animals don't have a moral compass that they care about for us. They're at the zoo. They're horny. They're going to do this. And then I like the inspector general walking behind. Yeah, you're doing it right. You're it. Okay, you're good.
That's sex ed. That's it right there.
Yeah. Parents left in shock. Don't go to the zoo. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that one could go up on my Facebook page.
But a lot of this some of these came from Facebook. So
okay, I don't understand either. I get flagged. It's out there on other sites. Okay. What else we got?
Mad Magazine.
Yes, this is Mad Magazine from the 60s, I believe, right? I love Mad Mag. I still do. It's still out there. I mean, this is when things weren't woke.
You totally couldn't
come on. Alfred E. Newman bringing it on home. We didn't have the hate we have today, and we were completely just goofing around back then.
The whole idea of what me worry is something that we should embrace again, I think.
It's not worth it.
Just Let it go.
No. Okay. And
When the baby.
yeah, this is kind of an optical illusion.
Oh,
This
Woman's-
probably wouldn't get it through on Facebook, Gary. This
That
probably
one wouldn't either. Before I go
No.
in the van, down by the river. That's a baby's foot or feet sticking
Right.
out. Yeah.
in the same regard, though, this is how Gary ended up in trouble with social media from the very
Yeah.
beginning,
Yeah.
because he posted a picture of elbows that
Yeah.
were misconstrued.
Right. The juxtaposition of the woman in the bathtub with her elbows up on the rim of the bathtub looked like breasts, and they weren't. But boy, they really went apeshit on
They almost
me,
shut the
the
whole
radio
thing down,
station.
right?
Oh, they were going to not only pull me, but the whole radio station's Facebook page. Like, who is this guy? Zuckerberg.
Speaking of ape shit, go back to that other picture. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, what do we got here? That little monkey going, as Scott says, shock jocks. Yep. I'll tell you what, we were in the era, and I was labeled that along with my partner. But I'll tell you what, radio could use some shock back in the system because it is so pablum. I listen when I can, and it's, hey, it's Tuesday. We're almost at the weekend, and that's about that's
Or
about
you want
it.
to hear about some of Ukraine, right? You want to
Or Ukraine or the CDC. Well, the COVID virus is still. Please.
They're still talking about snow in the mountains in Southern California, where there is generally snow in the mountains of Southern California. There's snow up there, and it's thick.
Here's
really
one of my
deep.
Here's one of my favorite radio moments. We were doing our show at this event in Chicago called Taste of Chicago, and the radio station had a plywood pyramid as their studio out there, and it was a really, as OJ would say, ugly ass, all black, and in the hot sun. You can imagine what that was like inside this thing. But anyway, we're in there, and we were doing this bit where we would. I know it sounds bad now as I'm saying it. We would say, if anybody wants to come by and be spanked for their birthday, we would do it. And we had a number of people come in, mostly women, and we would spank
And
them.
it wasn't their birthdays, but that was fine.
And we would spank them on air, and they had speakers that would go off into the general Taste of Chicago atmosphere. So it would go all over the park, and you'd hear these women screaming inside this black pyramid. Ow! 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 Now that's good. That's good entertainment. That's all gone now.
It's 38 degrees and
Yes,
sunny, but we could see a touch of snow moving into the area later on today.
That's right. Stay with us. We'll have school closings and everything you need to know, or that you could find on your phone anyway. Yeah.
Traffic weather at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
And we have someone from the Department of Water coming in.
Yes. Oh,
It'll
my
be
God.
scintillating.
Oh my God. The Justin Bieber concert has been canceled, if you need to know that. Okay.
Because he has Bell's palsy.
Again in Milwaukee. I think he
Right.
canceled it before, so that was
Okay.
the news here. There you go.
I'm going to take my massage gun and blow my brains out.
Trigger warning. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Anna in Florida, in the Allen territory, down there at the state that has no state income tax. All right. Let's pay homage to the sponsors, and then we're going to do that Wisconsin report. How about it? First, Bettenhausen Automotive. Thank you for being on.
Get them while you can. Bettenhausen Dodge on 159th Street in Tinley Park is putting out the last call on all editions of new Dodge Chargers and Challengers. This is absolutely your last chance to join America's ultimate high-performance driving legacy. Quantities will be limited, so hurry to Bettenhausen and order your new 2023 Special Edition Dodge Charger or Challenger. Come see one of our salaried sales managers today. Your best buying experience starts now at BettenhausenCDJR.com.
I can't believe they're phasing those out.
I know.
America's muscle cars.
Maybe let's hope it's like the McRib and that
They'll
they'll
bring it back?
them back at some point. I don't know. But hey, they're
Yeah.
smart people. They know their stuff.
There it is. Yeah, we don't need no Webb telescope. We just want our McRibs and Shamrock shakes. I don't need to know how the universe started. What's that going to do? Huh? All right. what about the roast to order coffee that we all enjoy here on the program? Do you enjoy it? Or tea? He's got tea, Mike Mascow, the proprietor. It's organically grown. He's got the aroma candles. Oh, and if you like the aroma of fresh brewed coffee, you light this candle up and it's in the house all day. You like that, right? I do. And I would pop the bag open, just take it. Ooh, Papa. Yeah. And it's just delish. A lot of people get in the comment section and say, thank you for recommending it. We love it. Mike ships around the continental United States. If you want to send it as a gift, he's got these packages, different roasts that you can experiment with that have a discount attached, and he is involved in charities. It's all good. roasttoorder.com. And a mortgage in your future, a refi, any of that? Okay, here's the guy and his team. Team Hochberg will help you out with a free consultation. Who knows what the rates will be next month and 6 months, but he knows for the most part, and he'll guide you through it all. And he's got some really good ideas about if you're thinking, well, I don't want to buy now because the rates, listen to him. He has a really interesting idea. The house you're looking at might have gone down 10% in what the people are asking from a year ago. So you buy the house and you buy with the mortgage what it is, and then you refi it in an 18-month span or so and get it back down. That kind of stuff. That's what I learned from David. All right.
He's smart.
All right.
He's not stupid. He's smart.
He's smart. I'm a smart guy. I'm smart. All right. Let's go. Ryan, you ready with your Wisconsin report?
Yep.
Well, that's it. It's Wisconsin, yeah, hey.
Hey everybody, it's Ryan. It's Friday. It's time to have a cocktail here in the GarrForce. Staying with that idea, I want to talk about light beer, especially light beer that tastes a little like water. I've heard other adjectives used. Well, recently, Anheuser-Busch filed a complaint to the National Advertising Agency against Miller Coors, or Molson Coors is the company name, saying they were putting out ads saying that the beer tasted like water. Miller Coors came back and said, hey, why are you even talking about an ad that's 6 months old? We're not running it anymore. Move on. So we'll see how that goes. Many of you probably watched Saturday Night Live, and there was a skit with Woody Harrelson around Cologuard. Well, that is made in Madison, Wisconsin by Exact Sciences. Well, they tweeted to the Saturday Night Live crew, and Woody Harrelson had some fun with Cologuard and the skit that went on. So if you're looking to test and make sure you're safe and you don't have any colon cancer, look up Cologuard and ask your doctor about that. And it's made in Madison, Wisconsin. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.
After Woody Harrelson emceed, 2 days later, everybody on the show got a box from Cologuard, complimentary probably.
Excuse me. It's Cologuard. Just so you guys know, it's Cologuard.
Cologuard. I'm sorry.
It's even funnier.
So, and has anybody in this group tried it? Yeah, it's kind of weird though.
Okay, I want to say
at least you're doing it at home. There's nobody else involved, but it's still
I wouldn't go that far.
Unnatural.
But you make a game out of it. You're saying, Ryan, that it's made in Madison as if, it's a cardboard box. It's a plastic thing you put over your toilet seat, and then there's a vial of some liquid. You have to mix it all up and shake it up.
Like a little milkshake.
Oh my God, you got to wrap it. It's
okay. And after watching that Woody Harrelson bit, and it's all over YouTube.
I didn't see the bit.
And it's kind of weird, but like so much of what goes on SNL, little too long. But anyway, I was thinking, imagine if that's your job, and it's a fine job, I'm sure, but what do? I study people's stool.
Yes. Is that how they say it?
They come in boxes. And, well, I mean, imagine Thanksgiving dinner. So what are you doing, Pete? I get these boxes. They come to me still fresh because it has to be in.
Right, there's a twist tie in the plastic bag, and then you take the Tupperware out. There it is.
There's that thing around. with the brush. It looks like mascara, but it's not mascara.
When I'm any of that is, I do this, and I just have this conversation with myself. What kind of supreme being would give us this disgusting function? I mean, really, every freaking day you go, what is this?
What did I do? Yeah.
And then you're in
even dogs do it, and they are like, I'm
oh
so
yeah,
embarrassed.
yeah.
Don't
This
look
is
at me, Mom.
embarrassing. Who would come up with this function? But you're putting this together and sealing the box, and then you take it to the post office, and it's right on the. They know what it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jesus. Now, getting to the beer, I don't understand what Anheuser-Busch can complain about. That's somebody's opinion, right?
Right. They said it was research based, or they had some word in the article that was more than
that's
just,
what set them off.
Yeah, that's what.
Because
set
that's
them
just
off.
somebody's opinion. I don't know why
Right.
that would be a problem.
And as I said, I've heard other adjectives. Water was nice.
Water was good. There it is. We're going to go to news, traffic, weather, sports, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes to have you hear all the stuff you've heard all day on your phone. Oh, all right. Top of the hour. All right. So that's what's going on. Now we know where Cologuard boxes come from.
Not Cologuard is
not Cologuard,
which makes it even fun.
Cologuard. Hey, get this. Now that you mention it,
it is like kind of just a hey, I'm your little pal, pooping me.
Yeah,
that's
right.
the whole. Well,
Yep.
and that's the. Let's face it. Woody Harrelson playing off the fact that he's high so often. It goes that route. Is like, hey,
Yeah,
just come on,
that
man, just pooping me.
right? It's like that Kool-Aid cartoon. Hey, have some Kool-Aid. Hey, crap in a box. Get this. So I've avoided the colonoscopy. I know I shouldn't, and my doctor said, well, at least do the Cologuard. I can do that. So I do it. I send it in, and I get a notice about a week later. It didn't take. You're gonna have to do it again. I'm like, son of a! What kind of disgusting function?
This is when he's sitting there going, "What kind of supreme being is
Right?
making
But
me do
why?
this
What is
time?"
this? What is this? And it's right by. It's all in the same area as your sex organs. It is the sex organ. I mean, that's the same thing as that toilet in Japan. The faucet that you wash your hands is right by the toilet. It's the same thing as the body. It's too close to each other. They should have had the sex organs on your elbow or something, and they're separate. Okay. All right. Well, you can tell that the Manhattan has been drained a little bit.
It's kicking in. I think we should probably queue up for the giveaway.
Yeah.
And back when somebody posted, how about hashtag pawpaw? And it just seems easy and stupid.
Yes.
It is a non sequitur at this point, but what the hell?
Use it.
So that's what happens on these commando shows. So hashtag pawpaw to keep playing.
The phrase that is going to pay for somebody. You haven't pulled out what you can show as the other gift.
So last week, a member or a relative of someone in our favorite band, our staff band now, oh yes, won. So she kindly decided not to take the t-shirts since she probably has a bunch at home already. So we are going to give away the Oh Yes t-shirt instead, along with our regular wine condoms, ball liquors, the Oh Yes sticker, of course, and I am going to dig into the grab bag of fun and an Oh Glory stick or patch.
The patch?
There you go. You can sew that on anything or
there it is.
There you go.
That's right, damn it. Best country on the planet.
Nice stuff.
There you go. Because half of them are shitholes, and they should be surrounded by a Cologuard box until they clean it up. All right? Let me just say that.
And the Cologuard boxes are going, hey, we want nothing to do with these shitholes. Thank you very much. And we're not supposed to say it, but we know they're out there.
The shitholes?
Oh, hell yeah.
We're not a politician. We aren't politicians. So, hey, call it like you see it.
We can actually be honest.
Yeah, we don't care. All right. Politically correct? I don't think so. Ryan, thank you as always. Great job. Leslie's going to do some stories, and then we're going to hit that button.
So in keeping with Ryan's photo, Let's talk zoos. Omaha's Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium was put on temporary lockdown on Tuesday after a resident cheetah escaped her enclosure. Zoo officials activated emergency protocols as soon as the breach was detected, meaning that staff and visitors alike were taken to secure locations until the coast was clear. The cheetah, a 5-year-old female named Gretchen, isn't that a great name for a cheetah? Gretchen never got beyond the public barrier and oddly was lured back to her enclosure no worse for wear. So
Yeah.
yay.
She's lucky because we've seen the carnage in other zoos.
Let's talk more animals then. No. We talked about this story. Remember the one about the guy who was lost at sea for several weeks and
Yes.
survived by eating ketchup? Well, the folks that make Heinz ketchup took notice, and they're asking for the public's help in trying to find this man. They know his name. It's Elvis Francois. Isn't that a great name?
A lot
And
of
they
great
know
names
that
in your stories tonight. All
I
great
know.
names.
So Elvis Francois is out there somewhere. He's a native of Colombia, but beyond that, they're coming up empty. It's in Mr. Francois's best interest, though, to be found because Heinz wants to give him a new boat, a state-of-the-art boat with state-of-the-art navigation, so he never gets lost again.
That's a smart PR move because Heinz has already gotten millions in publicity on this.
Well,
yeah.
And we were saying, why isn't some marketing genius jumping on it? Well, some marketing genius finally did.
Was that the story where the guy was working on his boat and it just started to drift out and he couldn't start I forget how that all happened.
I forget how it happened, but it ended up with him eating ketchup, some sort of seasonings, and dirty water.
Okay. And he was starting, they say, when they found him, to make a volleyball his girlfriend.
And one more animal story here. Wildlife officials in Colombia are looking to other nations to help alleviate their hippopotamus problem. The hippos in question are descendants of the 4 hippos illegally imported by drug lord Pablo Escobar back in the 1980s. Officials are hoping to unload around 70 of their 130 hippos that inhabit the area now around what used to be Mr. Escobar's proper hacienda on the Magdalena River. The hippo population, they say, is expected to continue growing since hippos have 0 natural predators in Colombia.
Leslie was telling us before we went on that many years ago, she knew a guy who is a drug dealer and he wanted to make Leslie his girlfriend, and she missed that opportunity to be a drug lord's mall.
It was a moment. I was a young, naive little thing, just putting a toe in the radio waters, and this man opened up a metal. It was like that scene from Pulp Fiction. He opened up a briefcase, like one of those metal briefcases,
Halliburton.
and it was packed to the gills with cocaine, and I went, oh hell no.
This all could be yours. Look at it. It's beautiful.
I don't want to be polluted. I have to go now.
You could have a solid gold Cadillac and a hippopotamus as a pet.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is such a, I really appreciate the attention. You seem like a really nice guy. But
I don't want to die in a drug shootout. I'll see you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. There it is. And we are ready to spin the wheel, right, Alan?
Sure.
All right. Let's hit the button. You want to say hello to anybody?
No. Do they ever do that on The Price is Right? Does anybody ever go?
Yes.
No?
Michael
Quilty.
All right, Ellen,
what
tell
a great
Michael
name.
what he needs to do.
Michael, send an email to GarryMeyerShow@GarryMeyer.com or text 773-888-2157. Regular charges apply with your U.S. mailing address so that Leslie can get her bag of fun prizes out to you by the USPS.
All right. And I believe last week's winner just went out, right? You were telling me Yeah.
I was a little remiss.
That's all right.
And with that, I have to go out and get new note cards because I like to include a note to each and every one of you. Last time I bought cards, I mistakenly bought thank yous. And so those of you who have been recent recipients realized how I'm like, thank you for playing our game. Or
Well,
thank
it's a
you for
thank you for being a listener viewer, right?
right. Thank
That
you
works.
for so I'm gonna go with neutral cards from now on. Ooh,
Yeah,
why do
yeah.
I keep doing it backward?
There she is, the birthday girl. All right, that's it. Time for the cannoli coming down the aisle. Please take it. It's complimentary. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And then the schnauzer.
Of course, I forgot I had a new cannoli picture and I didn't load it today.
Where is it?
Oh,
It's on my camera.
Okay. Next
I
week.
just remembered that among all the things I did this week, I did have a new cannoli photo, but I didn't upload it.
Next week.
Next week. Here
All
comes
right.
the schnauzer.
All right. Here's this. We're going to fetch on all fours this weekend, aren't we? What are we going to do with that?
I would take my schnauzer to the zoo because based on just the pictures and things that we've heard this afternoon, there's some stuff going on
Yeah.
there, and I think your schnauzer might enjoy it.
Yeah. Let it escape. Let it roam.
Yeah, just be free. Yeah, let your schnauzer be free. Who knows what could happen?
There's a drug compound, huh? The backyard. All right, that's it. 3 in the green. Gear is down. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. The voice of the globe, the GarrForce, has landed.
Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
If you like that, I got other stuff I think you're going to like. This is the GarrForce.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And please, please, please tell your friends and family to like and subscribe too.
YouTube.
More eyeballs. It's a good thing.
Subscribe to the GarrForce Live YouTube channel. That's what you should do. That's where we gather. Boom. Shakalaka.